Hey friends, welcome back. I've been busy in the garden, I'm all dirty, and I'm gonna end my day with a harvest with you. So I'm going out of town for work for several days, and I won't be back for today's Monday, I won't be back till Friday. So I need to get stuff harvested. That way it's not just sitting there or having somebody else come out and harvest it for me. And there's a lot. Green beans, blackberries, tomatoes, peppers. There's quite a bit out there. So let's go do that. That way I have a little bit of peace of mind when I go out of town for work.
So I went out of town for like 4 days the first time and 5 days the second time. I went out of town twice for work. And so this is the before harvest, trying to get everything we can, and we end up getting a whole bunch. It's awesome. It's great. So just going through the peppers here, finding what we can get, and look at that. We found a nice big one. And then going over to the green beans, I'm going to try to harvest all the green beans, even if they're a little on the small side. I just want to go ahead and grab them. I do have a person helping water the green stalks while I'm gone, so that's great. Everything else is on drip, so I don't have to worry, or almost everything's on drip, so I don't have to worry about stuff. But as far as harvesting goes, I didn't want that person to have to do all the harvesting and dealing with all of it, because once you harvest it, you got to deal with it inside. So we get everything we can and leave the rest up to the helper, and very grateful for that. Oh, I'm snacking on the tomatoes. About a third of them will make them inside. The other third I'll snack on while I'm out here. These are sun sugar. I'm not growing sun gold anymore. They are more prolific, but I like the flavor of sun sugar better. So that's what we got for cherry tomatoes, is just sun sugar, or that's what they're supposed to be. But some of the seeds actually are not sun sugar like they're supposed to be. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they got cross-pollinated in the process with the grower, or if the seeds got mixed up somehow, but that's not what they are. Just rinse them off. I love this harvest basket because it has holes in the bottom, so that way I can rinse things off outside or inside, whatever. And I'm just going to get them all on the towel and look at our haul. We got peppers, we got a whole bunch of beans, and tomatoes before I go out of town. And we're going to step back out and grab as many blackberries as possible because there's so many. I can't possibly leave for 4 days without trying to get as many blackberries as I can. There's like this 6-week window where you have to come out every other night and harvest because they don't all ripen at the same time, and it takes like a whole 6-week process for them to for all of them to ripen and be done for the season. This variety is Loch Ness Thornless Blackberry, and it is massive. This is all one plant, all the way from the base to our left and all along the fence. And then there's one next to it on the other side that hasn't done anything yet. It hasn't given any massive amount of blackberries, or it didn't flower very much either. So I don't know. It's Prime Arc, and that's supposed to be a good one, but I'm not impressed yet. But the Loch Ness is making up for it, so glad we have something. I wish my raspberry plants were thornless. Do they even make thornless raspberry varieties? I don't know. But those are very prolific as well. So just digging through here, you gotta see, and with them being against the fence, it's easier for me to reach in, but there's still spots that are really hard to reach and or even see. So you gotta stand at all different kinds of angles just to see all the blackberries. These are the elderberry plants, and I'm just ripping off the berry bunches and stick them in a bowl. And we're going to do something with those later, so I just pull the berries off the stems and stick them in the freezer for now. And we'll make a couple different things with them this fall or winter when the garden slows down and there's not much going on outside. We will handle these inside. Or if it's like a really hot day. The mosquitoes are really bad here, so I don't like being outside when the mosquitoes are out. Who knows? We'll get to it eventually. I don't think I got a clip of how many blackberries I got, but I got a lot. Okay, so this is when I come back from my first work trip. I'm gone for 4 days, or it's kind of more like 5 because I came out to harvest the day before I left, so it's kind of like 5 days have passed at this point. And we're getting a whole bunch of beets. These beets finally became a good size. It always seems to take longer than what the seed packet says. So I'm harvesting these in July, and I planted them in April. So it took a really long time. I used the greens in a salad, and I used the greens for the worms that we have. I blended up with some water and poured in. Give them a nice green smoothie. And back to the peppers again. For the sake of being repetitive, I'm only going to show you a little bit, and we'll cut the rest out and move on to the next thing. But we get a pretty decent pepper harvest. So the helper grabbed a few things for me here and there, but I don't think my helper grabbed any peppers while I was gone, so there was plenty to grab. We got 2 eggplants ready, and if you have an eggplant recipe, feel free to leave it for me in the comments because I don't know what I want to do with them other than like eggplant parmesan or parmigiana or something like that. And now we're over to the green beans again, but to not be repetitive, we won't be showing very much of that. Oh, excuse me while my phone interrupts us. Rude. So yeah, the provider beans are really kicking in. I planted the provider beans later than the dragon tongues, so the dragon tongues kind of fizzled a little bit, and the provider are taking over. And we've gotten so many beans this year already. I think I've already grown a year's supply. I've been trying to give a bunch away because they don't taste good in the freezer after a few months. They just don't taste good anymore. You get like they take on like a flavor, a freezer flavor, and I don't know. I don't like them. I do want to try canning some of them though, but I need to get some big quart jars before I do that. More tomatoes again. We got a good amount of tomatoes from when I come back from my first work trip. If I could talk. The sun sugars are so good. I gotta get them before the squirrels or chipmunks or whatever comes out and gets them. They'll leave the skins behind, so I'll see that they've taken some tomatoes. That's our very first tomatillo of the season right there. You wait till they have completely filled the husks, and that's when you know they're ready to harvest. So I've only gotten one. There's a ton on there. They haven't filled the husk yet. So, and then when the frost comes, they're very tender, frost tender. So I'll just take them all off and stick them in the freezer. It doesn't matter. Like I'll take the husk off. It doesn't matter what size they are. You can use them either way. So leave them on there until they're full, and if they don't, take them off when it freezes, and there'll be plenty. These are Black Beauty. We have Black Beauty and Black Krim in this area here for big slicer tomatoes, and they do crack really easily. The watering in this area is not excessive. We have water sensors in here, so we know that it's not excessive, but they still crack anyways. And nothing you can do about it, I guess. So they just go in the freezer. If I don't eat them fresh right away, they just go straight into the freezer. And we will make large batches of pasta sauce. I use it all the same. Pasta sauce, lasagna, spaghetti, pizza sauce. I use it all the same. It's tomatoes and it's herbs and it's onion and it's garlic, and it all tastes the same. These are yard-long pole beans, and I'm being a rabbit right now. I just keep it in my mouth and I slowly eat it. And it's pretty good when it's tender. Though if it gets too far gone, it gets kind of like wrinkly and the seeds get a little hard and it's just not as good. First year growing the yard longs, and I mean they're okay, but I probably won't grow them again. I used all the seed anyways, so I won't be wasting anything. And yeah, see, those are too far gone. They're too big. So I think I freeze the good ones, and I think I'd put that one in the compost. But we're digging everything out, got everything rinsed off, and we'll look at our big haul. Rinse out the tomatillos are sticky, so we rinse that off real good. And we're gonna squash bug hunt real quick. So I'm just gonna use that old coffee mug, travel mug that we don't use anyways, for this particular job, and a little bit of soap with some hot water. And if I find a squash bug, I'm gonna stick it in there and put the lid on it, because if you put them in a cup of soapy water, they'll crawl out and survive. So put the lid on it, they can't get out. And I only find 2 on this day. The plants are getting so big that it's really hard to spot them anymore, and so I'm having a really hard time finding them. I mean, there's evidence of them when you can see the leaves get sucked dry and they curl up and they get yellow and brown. And yeah, but my plants are thriving, so that's okay. And I want them to crawl up the arbor thingy, and they're not, so I have to keep redirecting them back to the blackberries again. But to avoid being repetitive, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. You've already seen me pick blackberries in this very same video. But here's the haul on the day back from our first out of town trip. And that's pretty impressive. I'm good with that. And so the beets and the beet greens are over there. And I moved stuff out of the way so you can just really see what I got today on that one day. And then I went out of town again, like I said, and here is everything I got when I came back the second time. Zucchinis, peppers, blackberries. Look at the beans. Insane. Absolutely insane. And then this little group of tomatoes that's inside the towel is what got grabbed for me while I was gone from my helper, as well as those beans he also grabbed for me while I was gone. So the harvest is coming in, and it is freaking awesome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Feel free to like and subscribe and watch some more videos. I will see you later. Bye.